Red Bull is currently at an all-time high, winning back-to-back titles. Announcing a brand new partnership with Ford entails both manufacturing and strategic elements. The Milton-keys-based team is certainly riding the wave of optimism. But as they say, what goes up must come down, and with Red Bull, the bubble looks to have burst after the latest news coming out of the F1 world. Stick around to find out what the bad news is for Red Bull and if Cosworth could be returning to F1. The team's new car launch was interesting to say the least, with the team taking forever to release its new car, and at the end of it all, the long-anticipated wait was disappointing, with Red Bull showing its new livery, which has mostly stayed the same. One thing that excited the crowd, though, was announcing the new partnership with Ford. Red Bull's new partnership with Ford has been an iconic moment for F1, bringing a decorated brand back into the sport. Ford has a rich history in Formula One and is the third most successful engine manufacturer in F1 history. Ford said they looked at multiple teams to collaborate with on their new power unit, but the company concluded that Red Bull was the ideal partner due to their complementary status in the car market. The critical factor being that Red Bull doesn't directly threaten Ford in the automotive industry. Rushbrook had this to say to the media: "It definitely is right to partner with somebody like Red Bull Powertrains because they're not our rival auto manufacturer. It would have not felt right or appropriate to partner with another auto manufacturer together on the power unit. There certainly were some opportunities to do that, but that wasn't the right way for us." However, Red Bull's partnership looks to have landed them in hot water, particularly with the other teams. Red Bull's relationship with Honda has come under criticism, with Red Bull having to defend its position with the Japanese manufacturer continuously. Christian has come out to say that the Red Bull and Honda relationship ended due to the complex nature of the partnership. "We have a great relationship with Honda. We've enjoyed so much success with them," explained Horner. "And that relationship runs to the end of 2025. Both the team and Honda will be doing everything possible to add to the success that we've already achieved to the conclusion of those agreements. We explored the relationship beyond 2025, but it just logistically became too complicated," said Horner. Honda and Red Bull have always had this gray area between them as to who owns the IP to the engine, with Horner looking to put an end to this debate through his latest statements. "There's no crossover of intellectual property. All the Honda engines are produced in Japan, and everything on the RB powertrain side is very much focused on 2026, so there is a clear Chinese wall between the two activities, but we're obviously going to be working with Honda over the next few years to achieve the best results we can. We have a homologated engine, so it's effectively frozen. Honda supply that engine, they own all of the IP, so we don't see inside the engine or anything like that. We will be doing our best with Honda to try and defend and achieve further race wins and championships." Honda and Red Bull's relationship has been a particular talking point for the 2026 engine regulations, with Ferrari taking a hard stance with Red Bull's entry as a new engine supplier. There have been rumors that Ferrari may veto Red Bull's entry as a new engine supplier and that they must be considered in the same bracket as existing engine suppliers. Ferrari was also banned from a meeting about new engine regulations as they did not want to enter if Red Bull were considered a new engine supplier. They were subsequently invited to the meeting and have now begrudgingly entered as an engine supplier for 2026. Alpine boss Laurent Rossi mentioned that there had been disagreements amongst the team over legal issues. "We had some points we wanted to discuss on the legal side to make sure that we fully covered as much as possible, which we did. We just kept on discussing those points as far as we could. And at some point when we reach a level in discussions where we think we're all in a good position, we sign or we're going to sign. I think it's imminent." It looks like Ferrari has got their way, with a coalition between Ferrari, Mercedes, Alpine, and Audi leading to the FIA backtracking on allowing Red Bull newcomer status when it comes to the construction of its engine. According to Italy's La Gazzetta dello Sport, Ferrari president and CEO Benedetto Vigna personally intervened to ensure the matter was dealt with accordingly and to assert the political weight of the prancing horse. The key areas of contention have been around Red Bull's high-profile signings of key engine specialists, such as Ben Hodgkinson from Mercedes and 5 of their engineers, despite Red Bull's continuous persistence that they have no access to the IP of Honda's engine. This was another key reason for the objection. On top of this, the teams felt Red Bull boasts a wealth of experience and knowledge of the current V6 hybrid power units. The reports suggest that Red Bull eventually gave up the fight for the newcomer status, with a majority against them. Only Audi will have newcomer status in 2026, allowing them to invest more resources and test hours in producing the first power plant for 2026. Had Ford entered as its own engine manufacturer, it would have been entitled to the newcomer status and the same benefits as Audi. And as with most things in F1, this will divide the fans. There is the argument that Red Bull is a drinks manufacturer that race in F1 and not a car manufacturer. F1 history tells us that building something from scratch has tripped up even the biggest brands. 2026 will be an exciting period for F1, and I can't wait to see how it will turn out. Not deterred by the setback though, Horner believes the new engine will be fitted to the Red Bull car later this year. We've got 150 weeks left before we have an engine driving out of a pit lane for the first time in the back of a Red Bull car, Horner told Motorsport magazine. So that focuses the mind. It's a big challenge. It's a ballsy undertaking to think that an independent team can take on those type of manufacturers. With Red Bull still receiving its engine from Honda during this time, it does make you wonder if they will not be looking at the Honda engine and tweaking their engine according to Honda's. And they will have great expertise in their team and a wealth of knowledge to lean on, with Horner having this to say about Red Bull building its own engines. The great thing about 2026 is by having everything on site, we have everything under one roof, one campus, said the Briton. We've got chassis engineers sitting next to engine engineers, and so the integration of the chassis and engine is totally at one, and that shouldn't be underestimated. Many fans have been asking what happened to Honda. Well, according to reports, the Japanese team could be heading back to McLaren. Yes, you did hear that right, after a tumultuous relationship with them. The rumors are the teams are in talks. Could the third spell be as good as the first? And one cannot talk about Ford without mentioning Cosworth. So does Ford's entry mean a return to the fold for the famous UK engine supplier? For any new F1 fans, Cosworth is a British engineering company that began providing engines in the 1960s and was bankrolled by Ford to create the Ford Cosworth DFV, which immediately began sweeping all before it after winning its maiden race at the 1967 Dutch Grand Prix fitted to Jim Clark's Lotus. They remained in F1 until 2013, having numerous owners including Audi and Ford. The history with Ford has led many to believe Cosworth could be looking to make a comeback in the sport, but Hal Reisinger, the CEO of Cosworth, has put an end to those rumors after having this to say to the media. It hasn't been a focus. We're very thankful that we've been able to earn a significant amount of automotive OEM business. That requires dedication of all your resources if you want to do it well, and I don't believe in doing anything less than excellent. It would require us to create another part of our organization to properly serve Formula One, which up until this point in this conversation hasn't presented itself in a compelling enough business proposition for me to consider, said Hal Reisinger. Were the FIA right to give in to Ferrari, or should Red Bull be considered a newcomer? Let us know in the comments.